Detroit basketball is in Cancun.
The Cavs wrap up their win against the Detroit Pistons, moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not sure what's a bigger storyline. The Cavs finally coming together and winning as a team, getting some role players involved, or the fact that the Detroit Pistons on game 7 on their home court just gave up. I want to get into it. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, give us a follow. Get more content. Leave us a voicemail too. We'll play it on the air. 216-260-3433. Noah, you were traveling home watching this, but we were still popping off in the text because what a fun game to watch.
What a fun game to watch. It was belt to ass for our Cleveland Cavaliers against the Detroit Pistons. We had our ownership in not one, not two, not three. I'm not going to count all the way. 25 damn buses full of fans over there so you could hear "Let's Go Cavs" on the broadcast. Meanwhile, we're blocking tickets for other people to come into our stadium. They're doing the same for the Knicks, by the way, which I think is hilarious. Cavs, Dan Gilbert is all-time petty right now and trying to go all in on this run, and I absolutely love it. But you know what else I absolutely love? I absolutely love putting the Cancun logo over the Detroit Pistons logo because they are off and they're complaining. They're still on the beach. They're complaining about the referees and all that BS, and we're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals because, damn it, the Cleveland Cavaliers finally put a game together that makes us proud. And I'm not just talking about 2 quarters. I'm not just talking about 1 half. I'm not just talking about a little bit of a run by Donovan Mitchell. 4 quarters, belt to ash. You gotta love it. The energy's back, baby. I'm so happy.
Yeah, this was finally the Cavaliers team that we all knew was in there somewhere. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen 4 quarters of basketball. We still haven't seen everyone together. Like James Harden did a disappearing act in game 7 a little bit, and yet they get it done in a great way. First of all, I love the energy. I love that we started Max Strus. Uh, Sam Merrill, I tweeted out he can have my babies as a joke, but he was on fire early. Loved it. And you know what? Unlock Sam Merrill, Noah. It was Donovan Mitchell. It was his distributing that unlocked him, unlocked, frankly, a lot of our players in that game. So finally, we see what they're capable of. We're going to get into it in a minute, but that next test with the Knicks is a whole different animal, though. And I can't wait to hear your take on what's going to happen there. But I'm with you. I'm here for it. And hey, we're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. First time since the early 90s without LeBron, by the way.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that was the parameters, the bare minimum for this Cleveland Cavaliers team in terms of calling it a success of a season, right? Especially with all the conversations about potentially blowing up this core. You know, we've talked about some Giannis trade rumors here. I'm going to put all that to the side for the rest of this run because I think it's a disservice to this Cavs roster who went out, who is in the Eastern Conference Finals, who has a shot. They're one of the final 4 to go win a championship. And while their odds are long, it's something like plus 2,200 compared to the Knicks are like 500. And then it's the West with like 100 and like 300, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're one of the final 4. We have a shot at this stage of the game. Anything's possible. No one thought that the Pacers were going to be in that series last year, and they could have damn well won the game. They could have won the series if it wasn't for some injuries and whatnot. So we don't know where we're going. We don't know what's going on with this. I want to bounce around a couple of the players. You named all the players I made graphics for, so I want to bounce around all the players, and I think it's only fitting for us to start with Jarrett Allen because game 7 Jarrett Allen, Black History Month Jarrett Allen, whatever Jarrett Allen you want to claim he is, has been awesome. It is awesome to see him in these big moments, not once now, but twice, step up and take care of business. 25 minutes, 23 points, 1 block, 7 rebounds, plus minus of 9. What were you thinking about Jarrett Allen when he was dominating in that 3rd and 4th quarter, throwing down the dunks?
Yeah, I mean, simply put, when Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are playing aggressive, especially together on the same night, this Cavs team is really tough to beat. And that's the key still to unlocking this team. Listen, I'm still not seeing what I want to see on a lot of offensive possessions. Defensively, we're going to have a handful with these Knicks. But when these two in particular play lights out, this just opens up the game for everybody else. You saw them on the boards. You saw them, like you said, throwing down monster dunks. Like, how can you not get pumped for a Jarrett Allen dunk just going over everybody? But he needs to bring that game 7 mentality, whatever it is about game 7, to games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We can't have disappearing acts if we're going to try to make a push to the finals and make a push for an actual championship. We can't have these disappearing acts anymore. But game 7, Jarrett Allen is here, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, and that's the exact storyline. Where is this continued? Where is this throughout the rest of the series? Where is this moving forward in the playoffs? We need this type of energy from this team because this team, when they play like they did in game 7, can beat anyone in the damn NBA. But they have been so inconsistent. And I don't know if that's because of chemistry issues, because James Harden came in at the deadline. Whatever the issue is, we need to figure out how to get this level of effort on both sides of the ball, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, every single time from every player on this roster, not just Jarrett Allen. And yes, we need game 7 Jarrett Allen, don't get me wrong, but it is everyone on this roster needs this level of effort every game for 48 minutes straight.
And keep in mind that Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are going to be tested on the defensive side of the ball against these Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is a big that can pop out and destroy you beyond the arc. Not like Evan Mobley once in a while hitting a three. This guy can shoot. So they're going to be really tested in how they defend him, and they need to be on their games because I think Cat is the one to unlock the Knicks for that team, and they can hit you hard with their shooting. So these two in particular, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, they need to be on it for this series.
Let's move over to Evan Mobley for a second because he had himself an amazing game. I think he is Mr. Consistent, and I'm shoving that one rebound game out of the way. I think he has been consistently the best player for the Cavs in this series. 36 minutes, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 for 10 from the field, and a plus 31 plus minus. God, I can't say that. God, Evan Mobley, what got into your breakfast cereal this morning or yesterday morning or whatever morning, every morning? Put it in there, damn it. I loved what I saw out of Evan Mobley in this game. He was taking what was given to him. He was playing good. When you get the Cavs bigs involved early and often, only good things are going to happen for this team. And I hope we continue to follow that blueprint into the New York Knicks series.
Yeah, Evan Mobley is the key to the Cavs. We've said it. We've talked about it. Should we trade him for Giannis? I mean, that was the big question mark because Evan Mobley has potential, and when he plays up to that potential, this is a really good team. He is part of that big three, and they're tough to beat. The problem is he often doesn't play up to that full potential. Like he had a great series. Don't get me wrong. I'm not poo-pooing anything that Evan Mobley did, but he still doesn't play up to the level that he's capable of, that we know he's capable of, because that level is honestly a championship team. He can be like the Wembayanya, I butchered that, but you get what I'm saying. He can be the Wemby of this Cavs team, and yet we haven't really seen it consistently, right? We see it when he gets pissed off, we see it in flashes, but if he could do that for 4 quarters for 4 to 7 games, then this is a much different team. That said, he is still going to be our key moving forward. Like we have to have him unlocked in order for this team to move on and to beat the Knicks.
Well, I think the key is 100% Evan Mobley. It's the bigs in general and getting them involved. But the key to winning game 7 was when Donovan Mitchell, 31 points, 20 or 31 minutes, excuse me, 26 points, 8 assists, 2 from 6 from three. I want to see his 3-point percentage get up, but plus minus is 17 too. I mean, obviously the plus minuses are going to look great when you blow out a team by a damn near 30 points. You were up 30 points multiple times in this game, but
It was
Spida
31 at the end. They did blow him
was
out
it
by 30
was it
points. Yeah.
31? Let me pull that up real quick. Oh yeah, I guess it was. I was thinking it was 26 for some reason. Anyway, Spida himself did what he needed to do in this game 7 after a lot of allegations were getting thrown on his name after the appearance, how he played in game 6, how this whole team played in game 6. He rises to the occasion, takes care of business. You love to see it. And then my boy Sam Merrill as well. He came off the bench. He was our best shooter, 5 from 8 from three, plus minus of plus 22. I mean, the Cavs were balling, and it is the type of game that we've been waiting to see, I think, since game 1 against Detroit. And I'm so happy we finally got it.
Yeah, let's go back to Donovan Mitchell for a second. you said beating the allegations. The fact is that, yes, the allegations were true. Like, two things can be right at the same time. He came through in game 7 in a big way. He was involved in like 48 points, I think, for this team, whether assisting or scoring himself. That's huge. And he finally got the monkey off his back, frankly. I mean, this has been the series where he falls every year in his playoff career, and finally he's moving on, and he even said it like it's a breath of fresh air kind of thing. But he's got to be that guy in 7 games, in 4 games, whatever. He can't disappear again, because even though everyone's saying like, hey, where are the haters of Donovan now? Nobody was a hater. Everybody, including myself, were saying that your superstar needs to act like and be a superstar. You can't disappear in 2 or 3 games and then come back and have a massive game and be like, oh, everyone was wrong. He's there the whole time. Well, we didn't see that. We didn't see it in game 6. We didn't see it in game 4 when we needed to see it. And that just cannot happen. That said, he put this team on his back to win that series. But I do have a question for you, because while Donovan Mitchell, Sam Merrill, the rest of this team was incredible, I wonder too, how much did we beat them? And I think, again, two things can be true at once. How much did we beat Detroit versus how much did Detroit beat themselves? They did not show up. They were not in it. Cade Cunningham looked anything but a superstar. Speaking of a disappearing act, they had open looks all night, Noah. I mean, they were open beyond the arc and they weren't hitting, period. Like, they were not hitting. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think we beat them, but they didn't show up either, which is crazy to me.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna take away any credit from this win though. Like, okay,
No.
the Pistons beat themselves a little bit. Okay, it was a 30-point routing instead of a 15 to 20-point routing because of the fact that they couldn't hit any shots, in my opinion. Uh, we were the better team. I think we were the better roster. We always thought that of this Cavaliers team in the first 2 series. Now, that changes a little bit when we move towards the Knicks about who's the better roster, who's the better team. The Knicks are very hot right now. We'll talk about them in a second. But if you're asking me, do I think the Pistons beat themselves more than the Cavs beat the Pistons? My answer is no, because
Well,
we shot at a level and we played at a level of intensity that we've been waiting for. And that's why I think the Pistons looked the way that they did. I mean, we were double teaming Cade, and that didn't do well for him. And when you only have one option like Cade Cunningham, you're due for a game like what Cade had on Sunday night, because you can't always bury the entire load. It's the same thing as like LeBron back in his first stint with Cleveland, in my opinion.
well, I mean, LeBron in his first stint with Cleveland dragged them to the finals all on his own, because that's what we need another name other than superstar, because when you're talking LeBron James, there needs to be a different level. Like, him and Jordan obviously are on a tier of themselves. I don't disagree with what you're saying. It just makes me nervous as we look ahead to these Knicks, because they're not going to roll over in the same way. They're not going to shoot 35%, which is insane coming from the Pistons, 35%. And again, you're right. We did beat them. And I mean, if we made even 10 more of our free throws, it's an even bigger routing. That's an issue we need to clean up. But it makes me worried as we turn to the Knicks. Speaking of, I want to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors, but let's talk about the Knicks and preview that series next. At the Office is brought to you by Rambler Reserve.
And we're wearing the hats right now.
We are wearing the hats right now, and honestly, this might be one of the best looking things I've put on my head in years.
Rambler Reserve is a Cleveland apparel brand based on history for people who love this city and just can't shut up about it.
So, us?
Us, exactly. Whether it be hats, tees, hoodies, you're going to the game, or you're going to the Muni lot. It's perfect apparel for any Cleveland fan out there.
If your friends say you ramble too much about sports, just own it. Head on over to ramblerreserve.com and use code ATO10 to get 10% off your order.
That's ATO10. ATO like at the office 10, ramblerreserve.com.
All right, make sure you pick up some of that merch. I have the hat here. It's awesome. I'm only not wearing it because I wanted to wear my ATO drip today. But they have some of the coolest stuff. Like, I got to place a new order because I want some more stuff. So head on over to ramblerreserve.com, get yours today. Noah, I do want to move on and talk about this Knicks series, because I got to say, I woke up so excited for the win. Don't get me wrong. Like, I was pumped. I think you know how jazzed I was for that win. And then I came back to reality a little bit, because although they have to play, there's a reason they're playing these games. I'm not as positive of this series turning out as well for our Cleveland Cavaliers.
See, I'm hopeful, and I know there's going to be a lot of discourse, probably from you, probably in our comment section, probably in general on X, on Twitter for the entirety of the series. This is a completely different Knicks team in terms of the Knicks team that we played when the lights were too bright. That was Julius Randle, right? That was a different set of big men down in the post. And yes, I know Cat is great offensively, and he's the key to their offense. They've moved to running the offense through Cat, and they've exploded, especially in the playoffs. They're the hottest team in the playoffs right now. But to me, I think that narrative and that, I don't know, the dwelling of that whole series and us being soft doesn't apply because it's a different team. Yes, it's the same organizations, but it's a different makeup. It's a different roster structure. Are there pieces still there from that series before? 100%. Yes, I'm not dumb. I know that the roster hasn't turned over completely, but to me, I think we're kind of past that point, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you still think this Cavs team is soft. But after what I've seen in two back-to-back Game 7 series where Jarrett Allen does what he has to do, Evan Mobley has been pretty consistent and done what he's had to do for the most part. I think he's been our most consistent player out of any of the players on this roster, including Donovan Mitchell, James Harden. To me, I don't feel overly confident, but I do feel confident in our chops, in our ability to win a series against the New York Knicks.
Well, I'll say that I think the physicality of these first 2 series, definitely helps the Cavs in getting over that hump because they played 2 really physical defending teams in Toronto and Detroit. These were some of the best defenses in the regular season, and I
Correct.
think that helps. I think we're gonna see our offense flourish a little more against New York. The question for me is not our offense, it's stopping theirs. Also, the question of whether or not we are going to be tired. On average, our starters have played 49% more than theirs. Obviously, they had a route and have been waiting for 8 days for this game. We've played on average 460 minutes for our starters to their 309. Is that going to make a difference with the wear and tear? I don't know. I don't know if how much gas is left in the tank. That's to be seen. But it's not our offense that worries me. It's our defense and facing off against arguably the hottest offense and streak right now in the NBA. It's really tough to beat teams when you're getting hot at the right time. And I think that is the Knicks at the moment. But again, they got to play. Who knows? Those 8 days could be a detriment to New York. They could come out rusty and cold, and we light it on fire at the Garden. I hope that's the case, but I don't know. Like I feel like either that's going to happen or we're going to get blown out. Like I don't think there's an in between for some reason.
And you're talking game one specifically right now. And that's where it kind of gets interesting for me as well, because I was very adamant after what I saw from Dean Wade in game 6 that he needed to be on the bench. And if you've listened to our show, you know that I've kind of defended the Dean Wade minutes. And then they start Struce, and I think the offense explodes because Struce gives you more spacing, blah, 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 blah. But then you talk about needing to stop the Knicks offense. And you think about the fact that Dean Wade has been a thorn in the side of Jalen Brunson. Do you start him again, at least in the beginning of this series, for that defensive output and try to stop him that way when you know Mitchell can score? You know the pick and rolls working with the bigs. If you get them early, get them going early and often, that's where my question lies. And I don't really know where I land on this yet because, at one hand, I love Max Struess's effort, and effort only gets you so far on the defensive glass. Like, Dean Wade is just a better defender than Max Struess. I hate to be the bearer of bad news if you were a Struess stan, and I'm a Struess stan, but I don't know who they should really start at that 3 position come tomorrow for game 1 or even game 2 on Thursday, because that's where the catch 22 is. And then what does that mean in terms of the rotations and stuff off of the bench if you do start Struess? Because you do need to give Dean Wade solid 20 some minutes here to be a thorn in the side of Jalen Brunson. It's a tough one. I don't know if I have the answer. Do you?
I'm split too. As you were saying it in my head, I was saying, no, we start Dean Wade. And you know how I feel about that. I've been calling for his head longer than you have.
Yep.
And yet, how we don't beat this Knicks team is we're not going to beat them trading points. And I know that sounds silly, like that's basketball, but we cannot keep, like, if they're draining threes, we're not going to be able to go down the court and match them with Max Struess on the floor. That's just reality. Because that's how high, like, What scares me is that games can get away really quickly against New York, and that's what I don't want. So I think the way that we win this series is with lockdown defense, and that sounds silly, but we need to lock it down and then do our thing on the offensive side of the ball. Don't get me wrong, but we have to be able to play defense in a way that we've seen in spurts. We saw it in Game 7 a little bit, but that needs to be the reality for this Cavs team because the Knicks can go on a tear, and we're just not gonna keep up with it. We're just not. Like, we're a good offensive team, but we're not that good. So we need to limit what they're doing offensively, and that's gonna help us with our offense. By the way, we cannot turn the ball over. That's gotta end like yesterday, and we're still struggling with that. And James Harden in particular, obviously struggling with that. But I think this team has found a little bit of its identity finally. We've talked about this. Where are they at coming together? They've only had a couple months. I think they're figuring that piece of it out right now, finally. And that's what excites me the most about the Cavs. Cavs are hot too. We talk about the Knicks being hot. The Cavs are also hot. So I wouldn't count them out. This is just the biggest test that we've had so far, and it's certainly going to test us. We cannot go down. We cannot lose both games in New York. Let's put it that way. There is no storming back like we did with Detroit. So that's what makes me in particularly nervous because we just cannot let it get out of hand.
No, we cannot let it get out of hand. And hopefully the turnovers do go down. I know there was the shot clock violations that frustrated everyone, but in terms of the actual box score, James Harden only had one turnover, which is a good sign because it has not been that for the majority of this playoff run. And you mentioned that, and I just wanted to bring that up. To me, it comes down to this. It comes down to the fact that we're playing a team where we can score better on because their defense is not what Toronto and not what Detroit is. And that means well for our wings in Donovan Mitchell and in James Harden. And it also comes down to can we get the bench explosion, whether it be one night it be Struce if Struce comes off the bench, one night it be Sam Merrill if Merrill comes off the bench, one night it's Schroeder if we play Schroeder a ton. And I know the lineup might tighten up even a little bit more and maybe he gets less minutes. Or even Keon Ellis, who's a great wing defender, mind you, and hasn't matched up well in the first two series, but may make a ton of sense to get minutes in this series because of his defense on a guy like Jalen Brunson. So to me, if we can get just a little bit of bench explosion in each of these games, in any game, we're probably going to win it. It makes me feel good that they can win it because we're getting help from some of our contributors. And that's a big key to me. And I need to see consistency from Donovan Mitchell. You've waited your whole career to get to this point. Make the most of it. It's time to make the most of it because we are 4 wins away from battling for the ring that has none. Well, I guess Thomas Bryant has a ring, but no one else on this roster has a ring. No, Sam Merrill does too. None of the main players on this roster have a ring. None of the stars have a ring. So, to me, it's about scoring, it's about hard defense, and it's about getting the bigs involved. When the Cavs bigs get involved, good things happen early and often. Jarrett Allen dunking, Evan Mobley getting into the paint when he can and scoring. That's what's going to win this series for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I like your shout to Keon Ellis because I think our key is our perimeter defense or lack thereof. That needs to improve against this team because they are not like Detroit. They're not going to miss those open looks. So we've got to get those rotations right. I'm excited. Obviously, we're going to come back and talk after that game one, and we'll have our thoughts, share our thoughts. But I don't know. Like anything can happen. That's the excitement of it. But we've made the Eastern Conference Finals. We've made the Eastern Conference Finals without LeBron James. The same can probably not be said next year when he comes back to us. We'll make it with him once again. But we're here and we're going to play the game. So why not give it all? And I agree with your take, like who we need to unlock and who needs to win this. But anything can happen. If anybody is more annoying than Detroit fans, it's probably Knicks fans. I'm already seeing them. So I can't wait to get this one underway.
I can't wait to get this one underway as well. Do you want to put a prediction on it in what you think is going to happen in this series? I know the prediction game's hard, but I'll throw it out.
Okay.
I'll throw out mine. You want me to
Go
go
ahead.
first?
Yeah.
Cavs in 7. I think they're going to go another 7-game series. I think they're going to play hard. I think we're going to have some games that piss us off. I think we're going to have some games that feel like game 7 and game, what was it, 5 with Detroit. And we're gonna move on to the NBA Finals because I do think we match up well against this Knicks team, and I do think we have the ability when we play at our full potential to go out and win any series in this NBA playoffs.
All right, prediction time. Cavs in 7 is my fan prediction. My realistic prediction, and I hate to do this, but I normally call it right. You know that. I'm gonna say Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5. You'd think we only get one game, really.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that so here's where my head's at with that. I think that New York takes games 1 and 2 in New York. If that happens, I think we steal one at home, but they go up 3-1. They take another one on the Cavs court, and then at that point it's just over. Um, that's what I think will happen. That's like my reality. Now, like I said, they got to play them, and who knows? Anything can happen. I hope that I'm wrong, but the basketball that I've been watching, it just does not favor the Cavs.
Yeah, the main thing here too, I know you mentioned it earlier, they're one of the hottest teams in basketball right now. How rusty are they going to come out of the gate? They have had a week's worth of rest, whereas we're basically playing a typical playoff schedule. We have the 1 day break, and now we're right back into it and playing more basketball. Does that bode well for the Cavs and continuing their momentum of a ass whooping that was Game 7, or do the Knicks, with their rest and how good they felt after taking it to the 76ers, give us the business in Game 1? That's what we're looking for when it comes to tomorrow, when the Knicks and the Cavs face off in the most famous arena in basketball, in sports, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you give us your take. Leave a comment or give us a call, leave us a voicemail. What do you predict for this series? 216-260-3433. We'll be back here after game 1 talking all about it, hopefully happily, but we shall see. For now, though, the debate never ends, but the show does. We'll see you next time.